Greetings, YouTube. You know I love data, especially when it comes to battle chip crystal openings, and the user Alpha compiled 5 million battle chips worth of hoarding to give us 2.5 million battle chips of regular arena crystals and 2.5 million battle chips of the arena crystals. And I told him I didn't want the video to be super long because it's about the data, not about the length. And so he did us a favor, and before he sent this over, he opened 700 of the 1250 regular ones already to start the video. And just to give you an idea of expectations of units or the goal of units, I still think a good opening, based on all the data I've seen, is 500,000 battle chips, 1,000 units. So for every 1 million battle chips, you want 2,000 units, or 2.5 million will get you 5,000 battle chips. So the goal for each of these groups of openings is 5,000 battle chips or something close to that. So let's, without further ado, hit that play button and see what he comes up with the first 1250. Again, the goal is 5,000, and he is already at 3,000. What's amazing about this is he has not opened one 4-star Punisher yet. I still think the drop rates for Punishers have been nerfed quite a bit ever since Apple asked for the drop rates to be public. I used to pull those things like candy, and now I can go, millions of battle chips without pulling a Punisher, even a 3-star Punisher out of the regular ones, and then a 4-star, of course, out of the Uncollected. But yeah, so he's still about 1,500 units away from the goal of 5,000 units. Now, this is kind of the equivalent of the stable Rift scenario. He has a ton of these to open, 1,250 as you can see. So the chance of getting a decent amount of units is quite high. The chance of getting an amazing amount of units is quite low. There's another 3-star Punisher. So you just got to remember that this has a low floor, but also a low ceiling with the strategy. Whereas if you hit the RNGesus lottery with the uncollected arena crystals, you could wind up with like 6,000 or 7,000 units. But you could also wind up with like 3,000 units, which would be definitely very disappointing, especially for all of the arena grinding that went into collecting these battle chips. Okay, so he's less than 1,000 units away from the target, which is pretty good. Ideally, he's going to get at least 4,500 to miss it by no more than 500, which would be a decent opening. And he only needs 60 units to get there. And so let's see if he can get there. There he is. So he's at 4,500. And then, of course, Kabam gives him 0 units in those 10. Okay, so this is really good data because it gives you a kind of a realistic idea of how close you can get to that 1,000 units per 500,000 battle chip goal. I also think it's just fun to hoard crystals, sorry Kabam Mike, and pop them. He is now very close, less than 100 away from the goal, less than 35 away, and he got it. He got the goal by 10 units. Way to go, man. I know you didn't have control over this, but 5,000 units, 1250, what a fantastic amount of data for the regular. So now we're going to go from the regular to the uncollected. And people will say it's the same drop rates. They don't understand. Yeah, but it's far less crystals. So you don't have the margin for error that you would. Like he starts out that 100,000 and he got 75 units. You could easily do 100,000 and get 0 units. Now, thankfully, he hasn't done that yet. And that's part of why he's kind of jumped out of the gate fairly successfully. But that one took a pretty big hit. That one, 0 units. I think he got 75 units in the span of 200,000 battle chips, which you just can't do in the regular arena crystals. And so now he's at 2,500, 2,775, and he's got only 12 more pops left. And he got the big goose egg there too. So this is a great example of why this is a much bigger risk. Now, if you want more chances at a 4-star Punisher, or of course that 5-star White Whale of Punisher who I've only been able to capture once, then you're going to want to go for these. But in general, it's just so much tougher to get that 5,000 unit goal because you don't have the margin for error. And hopefully at least gets up to 4,000 for these. And he still is not at 4,000. There's another Punisher But mostly it's just gold and 4-star punishers. No energy refills either, which is too bad. Come on, give him some units. At least give him to 4,000. No, he did not get there. So you have 5,000 units on one hand with the regular arena crystals, and then you have 4,000 units with the uncollected. This is just a really good example of why, even though the drop rates are the same, you want the largest sample size possible to give yourself the margin of error for when you get those gold drop rates, which is going to be the majority of your crystals. But with the uncollected, it's like the unstable rifts. You're taking a bigger risk, but you could get a bigger reward. I've seen people pull this many battle chip crystals and produce twice as many units, right? He could have got up to maybe 7,000 or 8,000 units, but the chance of that happening is probably less than 5%, and the chance of him getting less units than he would had he stuck to 5 million battle chips worth of the safe 2K regular arena crystals is just it's a lot safer. So I continue to preach this, and the data continues to back it up. For those of you who understand quantity and having more opportunities for the margin of error for those gold drop rates. If you want to open crystals that have a safer guarantee of units, open the 2K ones. If you want to open crystals that maybe have a higher volatility, you can get more units, but you're probably going to get more gold. Open the 10K uncollected ones, assuming, of course, that you're uncollected, because if you're not, you won't have the option to purchase them anyway. Either way, thanks so much to the Alpha for providing this awesome 5 million battle chips. So much hoarding and grinding and saving worth of data. It is probably my best argument yet for why, if you're trying to guarantee yourself the best chance to hoard units for the July 4th unit deals, you're going to want to stick to the 2K regular arena crystals and just save the volatility for the unstable rifts. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Have a great day.